Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you watch this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. I'm glad you're here. Real quickly, I want to say thank you to the channel members, and thank you to all my subscribers, and thank you to just anybody who comes in to check out the knife, the EDC content that I make. I appreciate you all. Today's video is kind of a little different. It's a top 5 video with, knowing me, I can't really count, so it's 6. And there's not really a specified category besides being fixed blades, being USA made manufacturers, being knives that I really like, that I own, that I sought out, and that are cool, right? I think they're badass knives. And the first one, this is the 2023 Shed Knives Skur, S-K-U-R. This is a little badass 154 cm chunk of material that is a hollow ground. It's pretty deep hollow here. It's not a tall hollow because, as you can tell, the blade stock, you've got probably 3/4 of the blade stock left solid, and then you've got this little hollow grind Skinner type blade, scoring type blade. Really, I wouldn't call it a slicer by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely a piercer. It's definitely got a slicey enough edge, but it is an absolute just thumper, for lack of a better term. You've got this lanyard hole that's part of the tang where you can put a lanyard or a rope on the back of this knife if you want to. Hell, you could put a rope on it and swing it around like a gladiator's weapon. But this thing is solid. It is chunky. It's not that big. So when you look at it lengthwise, it's going to come in right at 7¼ inches with a 3-inch blade, 3-inch cutting area. And then this inside grip from right here to right here is going to be, for me, a very comfortable 3.5 inches. And you've got the swells on this G10 handle that give you this really thick, comfortable grip that, to me, make this knife just a very cool, badass little knife. If you look at, when I say little, that's not accurate really either. The blade stock's going to come in right under 1/4 inch, 0.21, and then our handle is going to come in at right over 3/4 inch, at 0.77. So it is definitely a beefy knife from Shed Knives, and it's the Scur. I actually have 2 sheds. I have the Scur, and I have a knife called the Resilience. That's a little bit different than this. But the one I wanted to feature in this badass version of American-made knives is the Shed Knives, the Scur. So moving on, we come to the Bradford Guardian 3. I think this, as far as a fixed blade goes, as a harder use fixed blade, as a hiking fixed blade, as a camping fixed blade, as a EDC fixed blade, as a Slurpee Saver fixed blade, it's just really a great knife. They make this knife in so many different configurations, so many different blade steels, blade shapes, handle configurations. This actually came with the Diamond G10 flat handles. I upgraded to these 3D contoured handles because I found it so much more comfortable. This is the Rex 45 version with their Natrix finish, which is kind of that blacked out finish. This is a thick, still harder use knife, but it is very slicey. It's got a very keen edge, and the Rex 45 keeps a very good edge. It's going to come in at roughly 0.142 on the blade stock. The handle at its thickest point is going to be a whopping 0.83 inches. It's going to come down to roughly 0.62, but that's a contoured handle. So to me, that makes it very, very comfortable because you've got this front choil, you've got this little area that splits the fingers, and then you've got the wider part towards the back of the grip. So it just really holds the knife in my hand very surely. It's also going to be on the shorter side. It's going to come in at 6 and we'll call that 6 3/4 inches overall, with a blade, if we start at the handle, of 3.5 inches, but an actual cutting edge of about 3 1/8. And then this inside grip from this finger choil to the swell here is going to come in at roughly 3 1/4 inches. That's the inside grip. If you look at the outside grip, you're going to be looking like more 3 3/4. So that is the Bradford Guardian 3, a great little USA made banger. Kind of more in the production range. You can find these in different blade steels, different configurations, and they're made in a higher production than some of these other knives. Next up, we have the T.Kell Nightstalker. The Nightstalker is a ring knife, one of my first ring knives, and it is an absolute badass knife. This one is, if I'm not mistaken, in 80 CRV2. It is a drop point with a very pokey tip, slicey, stabby. My hand fits perfectly inside the ring if I wanted to use this as just a regular grip. However, the ring really incorporates the grip very well. It's a thin ring that's very rounded out, so it doesn't really impede with me grabbing the knife, so I don't feel like I've got my finger through a ring, so to speak. It is about a 3/4 flat ground blade, G10 handles. Again, you've got this ring that's got a nice little skull cracker, a little pry on the end of it. It is going to be about the same blade stock as our Bradford, a little bit thicker, 0.16, with a grip that's going to come in at 0.54 in the width. Very comfortable knife that works both as an EDC knife, as a defensive, tactical type knife, or as a hunting, hiking, camping knife. Just serves a lot of different purposes. If we measure it from the inside of the handle, you are looking at a roughly 6 3/4 inch knife. If you go from the back of the ring, you're looking at roughly 7 3/4. You have a 3.5 inch blade with a 3 1/4 inch cutting area. The inside grip from right here to right here is going to come in right at 3 inches. And then if you get it from the inside of the ring to right here, you're looking at 4 inches. So 4 inches to here, 3 inches to here, and just a great little package. This again, made over in Georgia, USA made, smaller batch manufacturer, T.Kell knives. This is the Nightstalker. Actually, the Nightstalker CG, which is the combat grade, a little bit thicker blade stock. So it is the Nightstalker CG by T.Kell, and it is a badass little knife. Great sheath, great pocket dropper. I'm a big fan. Next up, we come to probably the most wicked Wharncliffe in my collection, fixed blade or otherwise. And this is a small USA made maker. This is Mag 10 USA, Mag 10 Knifeworks, Colin McGuire. He is a maker, I think up in the state of Rhode Island, and he made this badass little EDW, which is the name of it. It is in, if I'm not mistaken, ABEL. Could be wrong about that. It is a super slicey laser beam of a knife with a cute Wharncliffe tip that is just as pokey stabby as anything that you could want. Not a hard use knife, not a knife that I'd go necessarily drive through firewood to split it down with, but what a glorious knife to carry. It fits my hand like a glove. It is a great hiking knife, great EDC knife, great package opener, great defensive knife. It's a great folder replacement. It's what I would consider a medium to full size knife, right? So I could see this as my only means of carry and be fine with it. It comes in at 7.5 inches with a 4-inch blade with 3.5-inch cutting area. The inside grip right here is 3 1/4, right under 3 1/4, and then right under 4 inches if you're looking at the main grip right here. It does have a little G10 lanyard tube. You've got these beautiful glow carbon fiber handles with this just gorgeous G10 lime liner. Fantastic hand brush finish, just gorgeous. One of the favorite knives in my collection, and definitely the most wicked Wharncliffe. Blade stock is going to be a little thinner, 0.098. The handle is going to come in under 5, under half an inch at 0.46. Just a functional, pokey, stabby, USA made, badass little art piece. I love it, love it, love it, and it is definitely on our list. So moving on, we come to another small batch maker that's here on my side of the country in Alabama. This is Driver Defense, Dustin Driver, and this is his fixed blade Splinter. This knife is as comfortable of an EDC, hard use, camping, hiking, defense knife as you could want. It is just a full tang chunk of MagnaCut with nice G10 handles. It's got a nice lanyard loop there at the end if you use that. Very neutral handle with a choil there, so it's just a very comfortable grip, a very strong service grip. Very sharp MagnaCut blade. Full flat ground. And I would give this that medium to full size knife designation in my book. It's going to come in at 7 1/8 inches overall with a 3-inch blade, an inside grip, if you will, at 4 1/8, and then an overall grip at 4 1/2. So 4 1/8 to right here, 4 1/2. And then this is a chunky drive through a paint can blade if you need to. It's going to come in at 0.1770 with a handle thickness of 0.55. So a little bit, you know, right over half of an inch. Just a banging little knife. I really like it. It's been a lot of fun to carry. It's been a lot of fun to beat around. And I think it's made very well. USA made, small batch, Driver Defense Splinter. Which brings us to the final one. And that is my Axial gear, Wharncliffe, Alpine, and MagnaCut. So guys, this has been an absolute banger of a knife. It is an EDC knife. It is a hiking knife. It is a camping knife. It's a really multi-use knife for me. It can take the place of my primary carry. It can be an accessory carry. It's very, very comfortable in the hand. I love the MagnaCut stonewashed blade. It's made right here in the US. It is very, very slicey. I picked out the Wharncliffe You can get this knife in a tanto or in a drop point as well. So it's available in different blade shapes, just depending on what your desire is. This is, again, very, very slicey, very stabby. Even though it's a Wharncliffe, it's got a good point on it, not only for detail cutting, but for driving, if you need to drive it through something. A really cool knife. I've been very impressed with it. I love the way it cuts, and I love the way it carries. I just think it's a badass representation of USA made goodness. This is a little bit larger batch, I guess you'd say, than some of the others, but it's definitely much, much smaller than production, right? So you've got very small batch with the driver defense Splinter, very small batch / custom with the Mag 10 USA EDW. And you've got kind of limited run small production with the T.Kell Nightstalker CG. You've got more full production, but a lot of different steel options depending on what you're looking for, and the Bradford G3. And then you've got the small batch maker shed knives, Jack Billings, with the Scur. So that's my 5 or 6, known as I can't count, fixed blades that I think are badass USA, kind of all around carry, cool knives that get it done, that look cool, that are, you know, raised right here in the USA. Guys, I hope you found this video entertaining, informative, educational. Maybe you saw something you hadn't seen before, but I'm glad you're here. If you're so inclined and you made it this long, if you'd hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon, it would really help me out. But please look out for that guy or gal to your left. Look out for that guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart and choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.